Today, we're diving deep into one of the most famous stories from the Bible, Samson and Delilah, a tale of love, betrayal, and the unexpected power of forgiveness and redemption. Our story takes place during a time when the Israelites were oppressed by the Philistines, a powerful people who ruled over them for 40 years. And in this era, God chose Samson, a man of immense strength, to challenge the Philistines. But Samson's strength wasn't from regular training. His power came from a vow made by his family to God. Samson was a Nazirite from birth. This meant he had taken a sacred vow to never drink wine, touch anything unclean, or cut his hair. As long as his hair remained uncut, he would possess an incredible, supernatural strength. Samson's strength became legendary. He tore apart a lion with his bare hands and defeated countless Philistine soldiers. But the Philistines, fearing his might, were determined to find his weakness, and it was then that he met Delilah. Samson fell deeply in love with Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek. She was beautiful, cunning, and ultimately loyal to the Philistines. Seeing an opportunity, the Philistine leaders approached Delilah with an offer: silver in exchange for the secret of Samson's strength. Motivated by the wealth, Delilah agreed. But gaining Samson's trust would not be easy. "Samson, tell me, what makes you so strong? If someone wanted to overpower you, how could they do it?" Delilah asked. "Why, you think I'd tell you that? But all right, if I were tied up with 7 fresh bowstrings, I would be as weak as any man." Samson replied. Delilah informed the Philistines, and they provided her with the bowstrings. She tied Samson up while he slept, and then called in the soldiers. "Samson, the Philistines are upon you," Delilah shouted. Samson breaking free from the bowstrings effortlessly. Samson's strength was intact. Delilah had failed, but she wasn't giving up. She asked him again and again, each time using a different method he provided, each time failing to subdue him. Samson finally gave in, sharing his greatest secret, the strength that came from his uncut hair, a symbol of his vow to God. As Samson slept, Delilah took a razor to his hair. With his vow broken, Samson's strength left him. When the Philistines arrived, he was powerless. They captured him, blinded him, and took him in chains to Gaza. Now blind and humbled, Samson spent his days in chains, forced to grind grain. But over time, his hair began to grow back, a symbol that his strength, and perhaps his faith, were returning. The Philistines held a great feast to celebrate their victory over Samson. They brought him out, mocking him as their defeated enemy. But Samson had one final request. "Place my hands on the pillars so I can lean against them," he asked. In one last prayer, Samson asked God for the strength to defeat his enemies and deliver his people. "Lord, remember me. Please strengthen me just this once," he prayed. With a final surge of strength, Samson pushed against the pillars, collapsing the temple. He sacrificed his life, but in doing so, he destroyed the Philistine leaders gathered there, striking a blow for his people. The story of Samson and Delilah is one of human weakness and divine strength. Samson's failure led to his capture, but his final act became one of redemption. His life serves as a reminder of the power of faith and the consequences of straying from one's purpose. But in the end, he found a way to fulfill his calling.